Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Hope your work week's off to a good start. You want to break up that work week and have some fun on a Tuesday? Come see us tonight at Court to Table Sports Trivia, 8 o'clock. We will be there. I'll be fresh off the LSU practice field, so if you want to come by and play some trivia and then ask me what I saw at practice, I can do that for you. But we'd love to have you on Burbank, Court to Table, 8 o'clock every Tuesday. You can win gift cards, eat their awesome food, delicious drinks as well. Always an enjoyable time there at Court to Table. So hope to see you at 8 o'clock. Have you out of there by about 9:15 or so. So not a late Tuesday night, but always fun over there at Court to Table. Sharief Ishaq will be here in 30 minutes. We'll talk to Sharief about what he saw at Saints camp, the impact of the Cam Jordan injury, and what he'd like to see the Saints get out of these joint practices with Jacksonville that start up on Thursday afternoon. So we'll do that in 30 minutes. Braelin met with the media, had some interesting things to say about LSU's young defensive lineman that we'll get to coming up in 15 minutes. But right now, I had this idea yesterday on the air because we started talking about whether or not LSU is going to make the playoffs. And we're talking about the schedule and how tough it was. And then I thought to myself, why don't I look at what the toughest game is on the schedule all the way to the most winnable game on the schedule, right? There's 12 of them. Rank them 1 to 12. 1, toughest game on the schedule. 12, easiest game on the schedule. And so I thought, well, I can do that exercise. I feel like I've now gone through SEC Media Days. I've read up on a lot of the teams in the Southeastern Conference. It's more difficult than ever to know what teams are going to be year in and year out because the portal makes the rosters so volatile. So I don't pretend to know. This is not gospel by any stretch of the imagination. It's just my feeling on it. And I'll give you some reasons why as I mosey through it. So let's start with the most winnable game, and we'll go up to what I believe is the toughest game on LSU's schedule. Well, the most winnable game is McNeese because they're in the FCS. And LSU plays McNeese on October the 3rd, and LSU will win that game by as many points as they want to win the game. They shouldn't play FCS teams. I've now been on that mantle for a long time. That'll be a complete mismatch. That's the most winnable. And the second most winnable is Louisiana Tech, who LSU will get in week number 2. It's a weird spot on the schedule because it's Clemson, Louisiana Tech, Ole Miss, A&M. So you're jammed in there in a sandwich spot. But Tech has not been very good under Sonny Cumbie. We saw them here last year, and with the very injured Garrett Nussmeier, LSU got through that one. It was ugly. The defense played great. Would have shut them out if it weren't for a busted coverage there late in the game. So I anticipate that LSU will be just fine against Louisiana Tech as well. So now you get into the 9 SEC games plus Clemson. So your last 10, and I start with the most winnable SEC game. I find that to be Mississippi State coming to Tiger Stadium. It's a home game. It's in the middle of a winnable stretch of games. And look, I think that Jeff Lebby is a good football coach, and I do know that Mississippi State played better than their record indicates last year. They were right there and should have won the game against Texas. I mean, they had a 17-point lead against Texas and couldn't hold that. They played admirably for about 2.5 quarters against Ole Miss. They were in some games, and Kamario Taylor is a heck of an athlete at quarterback. No question about it. But I just don't think that their roster is very good. And somebody's got to be the most winnable game, and it's the one that's at home. So I'll take Mississippi State at number 10. Number 9 is going to be LSU's trip to Arkansas. This is basically a completely new roster, but it is on the road. It might be cold. And at this point in the schedule, which is the last game of the season, it's a morning kickoff where LSU could be playing for its playoff lives, in which case they'll be sky high. What if they've got 4 losses? I mean, it's possible. I don't want that to be the case, but it's possible. All of a sudden, it becomes a little bit more challenging than maybe Mississippi State is, even if Mississippi State has a better roster than what Arkansas has. I don't know about the Silverfield hire. I don't know which of their 2 quarterbacks they're going to play. I think LSU will handle Arkansas just fine, but I've got them at number 9. Road trip to Kentucky, I've got at number 8. I don't have a great feel for what Alex Stein's going to be. You go get a quarterback there in Minchie from Notre Dame, and you've got a bright offensive mind that scored a lot of points at Oregon, but he doesn't have Oregon's roster by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't know exactly what that's going to hold. It is on the road, but I think LSU is significantly better than Kentucky across the board and should be able to hold their own. I've got that at 8. So the bottom here is McNeese, easiest, then Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky. I have Clemson next. I have Clemson at number 7, with 1 being the toughest game on the schedule. Nobody believes in Clemson right now. And we'll see if Vizina has got the goods at quarterback. They're replacing all the impact dudes from that defense. They thought they had Luke Fornelli coming over to play linebacker, and Ole Miss stole him from a chair in Psych 1001. They still got some 4-star recruits running around out there, but there's very little that would indicate to me that Clemson is significantly better than they were last year. They lost all those great players. They didn't add a top 100 transfer. Is Chad Morris going to rescue this thing offensively in 2013? Maybe. I don't. It's at home. It's the opener. The teams are going to be healthy. That stadium's going to be on fire. I like LSU's chances in that game today, and I think the 6 games that I'll get to beyond that are more difficult for LSU than Clemson. And I start with number 6. That's at Auburn. I think Byron Brown and Alex Golish are going to win a couple this year that people are not necessarily talking about right now. They kept DJ Durkin on defense. Now, they overhauled that defense, but they have the same structure in place with Durkin. And I just think that Byron Brown's going to be a really good quarterback. Can they run the ball? Is that offensive line going to be good enough? I don't know. But I'll tell you this. Byron Brown is better than any quarterback Hugh Freeze had on the Plains, and it's on the road. And one thing I know about Auburn, they might be 12-0. They might be 4-8. That stadium's full. That stadium's loud. That stadium's engaged. And LSU's going to go there for the first time in a while, and it's going to be tougher than, this is an Auburn team that's got the 4th fewest wins in the conference over the last 5 years. I just think I think that the Auburn game is a more difficult game than Clemson. We'll see. But I've got Auburn at number 6. Number 5, I've got Alabama coming to Tiger Stadium. Is that offensive line going to be good? I think that you'll get some decent quarterback play. Kalen DeBoer generally gets that, and whether it's Keelan Russell or Mack is the guy, we'll see. The offensive line's a little bit concerning. They were soft trying to run the football last year. They were soft trying to stop the run last year. I think they're good. I think they got pros. Ryan Coleman Williams is a pro if he catches the ball. But I think that's a talented team. I think there are more difficult games for LSU. And one of them, I think, which is number 4 on my list, is the trip to Tennessee. That's going to be a jam-packed stadium, chilly night on the Tennessee River. And that's going to be a pretty good defense that Josh Heupel's got there. And I just think they're going to be a tough team to beat in Knoxville. If that game was in Baton Rouge, I would feel differently about it. But Neyland's a real place. That's a late game in the season, second to last week of the year. You've already played Texas and Alabama right in front of that. You've got A&M and Ole Miss well in the rearview mirror. That could be it. That's a tough spot in the schedule unless you've taken care of your business early on in the season. Tennessee wasn't great last year, but they were a playoff team 2 years ago. They recruited at a high level. I think the Tennessee game on the road is more difficult than Bama, so I've got it number 4. And now we get to the top 3, the most difficult 3 games I think on LSU's schedule. Number 3, A&M coming to Baton Rouge. A&M coming to Baton Rouge, Marcel Reed has cooked Blake Baker for 2 years. Cooked him. And Mike Elko's defense will be good. Yep, lost Cassius Howell. Yep, had some guys move on to the NFL. But Mike Elko can coach a defense, and they will be good. And Marcel Reed doesn't look like a decent player against Texas. Awful. Looked atrocious against Miami. And has looked bad many times in his career, including South Carolina a couple of years ago. But when he plays against LSU and Blake Baker's defense, it looks pretty good. That's a scary game, especially with that spot right after the Ole Miss game. So I think that's a very, very difficult game for LSU. I've got it number 3. Number 2, I've got the trip to Ole Miss. And now you know what that leaves as number 1. But for number 2, Trinidad Chambliss is really good. And despite what you want to say about the size of that stadium, and it is small, it's going to be a Hornets test. I'm not calling for, projectiles to be thrown on the field, but it's just going to be very loud early and often in a difficult place for LSU to play. That will be an inspired Ole Miss stadium and team. Y'all know this, but it's going to be true. They're going to come out with their hair on fire. It's the way I feel about LSU and Clemson, and why I've got Clemson down here at number 7 on this list, because I just don't know if Clemson is going to be ready for what they're walking into that night. And that's going to be a tough game for LSU with a really good quarterback. Now, the saving grace is I don't know if Ole Miss's offensive line is going to be very good, and I don't know if their secondary is going to be very good. But I think their D-line is going to be good, their quarterback's excellent, and their running back's excellent. So we'll see, but I've got Ole Miss at number 2, and then I think the toughest game on LSU's schedule is Texas. And people will say, too much credit to Sark, they hadn't gotten it done. But the fact of the matter is that Arch is really good, that he's throwing to Cam Coleman, who's really good, that he's being protected at the left tackle by Gooseby, who's really good, and that rushing the passer is Colin Simmons, who's really good. Those 4 guys could be top 15, top 10 picks, talent-wise. This is the most talented team on LSU's schedule. And the game is right after you play Alabama. So it's a tough spot on the schedule. It's a super talented team, and I think it's the most difficult game that LSU will play. I think that this is a more difficult game from Ole Miss because I think much more of Texas's roster than Ole Miss. Certainly, the venue matters, and that's why I've got Ole Miss as high as I do on this list at number 2. But the talent of the opponent matters the most, and that's Texas for me. So if I'm going from now, we'll go the other way, top down, most difficult to most winnable for LSU. Toughest game on the schedule is Texas. Number 2 at Ole Miss. Number 3 is Texas A&M coming to Tiger Stadium. Number 4 is LSU's trip to Tennessee. Number 5, Alabama in Tiger Stadium. Number 6 at Auburn on the Plains. Number 7 is Clemson, the opener here in Tiger Stadium. Number 8 and 9, road trips. 1 to Kentucky, 1 to Arkansas, and then 3 home games, 10, 11, 12, Mississippi State, Louisiana Tech, and McNeese. Those are my thoughts on LSU's difficult games 1 through 12. Your thoughts? Well, welcome. Tuesday show is brought to you by Vince Network's Cloud IT Management. When we come back, Braelin Moore met with the media yesterday and had some interesting things to say as he returns for his final collegiate season. We'll get to that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Our friends at Auction want to make sure that back to school runs smoothly for you and the kiddos, and they've got a lot of great information that you can access on the internet and obviously through us. If you want to check it out, you can at oxford.org/BR. But nutrition plays a huge role in your child's performance, mental health. Auction recommends packing balanced lunches, protein, fruits, vegetable, whole grains, and get kids involved in meal planning so healthy choices are more appealing to them. If you're looking for same-day appointment availability at a lot of locations, it can help families address unexpected health concerns quickly as the children return to school and activities, which can obviously put them around more kids and put them in a spot where they might get sick or might get hurt in extracurriculars. Well, you can find those extended afternoon hours after school, as well as weekend appointments and options or select locations. Provide the added flexibility you're looking for families that are balancing school, work, extracurriculars, all of that. And they've got convenient access to primary and pediatric care so families can stay on top of annual wellness visits. So check them out online at oxford.org/BR. That's oxford.org/BR.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Shout out to my friends at Gotros Outdoor Power. Gotros Outdoor Power. I was chatting with my guy Gant Gotro the other day. They got some incredible savings going on in the month of August. If you're looking for that zero-turn mower, look no further than my friends at Gotros Outdoor Power. In August, they've got that summer clearance sale up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero-turn mowers, and 0% financing is available as well. Again, that's up to $1,000 off select Gravely, Skag, and Hustler zero-turns. 0% financing is available as well. And if you're thinking, well, how big is that inventory? Well, they got the largest Hustler inventory in the state, so it's pretty big. Check them out on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and, of course, in Gonzales as well. 22 years in business for the Gotro family. Go with that local option for your zero-turn mower this summer. It's Gotros Outdoor Power. They're online at gotrosonline.com. Braelin Moore was with the media on Monday afternoon after practice, and obviously coming into his second year at LSU as the starting center, played last year and really played well when he wasn't hurt, which he was hurt most of the year last year. But he talked about his decision to return to LSU, which wasn't a slam dunk. He could have gotten into a training camp in the National Football League, but decided to try one more year at college.
Yeah, I feel like the decision was pretty easy for me. Obviously I had a choice if I wanted to go to the next level, but there are still a lot on the table that I desire to go get. It's a national championship. It's a Joe Moore Award, so that's why I came back, just trying to go get those things.
LSU's certainly done that. Knocked off both of those in the 2019 season here, and LSU would love another run at something like that. He was a starter at Virginia Tech, Braelin Moore was, and came back to LSU, now working under his second group of offensive line coaches at LSU. He spoke to his development in Baton Rouge.
The biggest step where I've taken is definitely just my leadership. Coming in, I knew pretty much the whole O-line left, and I knew there was going to be tons of guys coming in, and sat down with Wolf and pretty much said, I want to lead this group. I got to get everyone on track. There's so many. It's easy when you got guys like Seaton and Lou and Wes, coming back, and Bo. Bo's doing an amazing job. But yeah, just my leadership and bringing along people. I feel like that's where I've taken the biggest step.
You need that from your center, and this is – I was writing about this over the summer when I was writing my position breakdowns for LouisianaSports.net, and just how impactful it is to have a fifth-year senior center to run this up-tempo offense and to make sure when you're on the road at Ole Miss, when you're on the road at Tennessee, when you're on the road at Auburn, and you're dealing with those loud crowds and you're trying to go fast – you need a center who's able to digest all this information very quickly and make sure the guys that are near him do as well. And with Braelin Moore, he's got Bo Bordelon to his left, who he's been with now for 2 years, not as a starter, but Bo's been in the room. And then you've got Alu Ba, who's a fourth-year player as well, on his right. But you're trying to go fast. Your center needs to know where things are going. Your center needs to be able to set protections and make sure the ball's getting snapped at the proper time. And for LSU to get a guy with such a veteran presence back, I think is a huge, huge deal for this offense that maybe we haven't talked a ton about, but I think it's very impactful. Now, it's a new offensive line, and Braelin Moore talked about his confidence level in this group.
I got the utmost confidence in this group that, we could go get that award and we could be the most dominant O-line in the country. We're surrounded by tons of high ball knowledge. Coach Wolf, Coach Craig, who was the O-line coach here in 2019 when they won the Joe Moore, and Coach Goddard, who was, played in the NFL, won 2 Super Bowls. So, we're just surrounded by so many guys who know so much about the game, and, I see our group taking that step. We just got to keep building.
Sounds like some of the conversations that have been had with folks in the program, how do I phrase this? It sounds like the offensive line coaching has really been a positive for this team since the spring. Is that a fair thing to say? It sounds like with a new group, Seaton at left tackle, yeah, that's new. Ba at right guard, yes, that's new. And then a whole host of young depth pieces in Satterwhite and Stray and Jacoby Jones and Jaquan Sprinkle. And you bring in, Solomon Thomas was here last year but didn't necessarily play a lot. And you brought in Ryan Moret in this freshman class. And you've got a lot of guys that weren't necessarily part of what they were doing last year. And this group has kind of been brought together by Coach Wolford, Coach Craig, Braelin Moore. And the other guy here is Bo Bordelon, who you heard Braelin Moore talk about a little bit initially in the bites we were playing. And he elaborated on what Bo has done to win that job at left guard.
Yeah, man, I'm so proud of Bo. Just to keep fighting each and every single day when stuff didn't go his way for most of his career. I could just see his confidence growing each and every single day, and it's showing on the field. Me and Bo work great double teams, and he's a big, powerful dude. Like, he just looks the part. He go out there, he got the big neck brace on. You just know he's going to run through someone's face. So, I'm real proud of where he's at right now.
Bo Bordelon is a big dude. I can confirm that. I don't know whether or not he's an all-SEC left guard. I can tell you he's big. He's big and physical. He's a technician in there, and he's a veteran that just hasn't played a lot. And so you're hopeful that the light has come on and that this new system has allowed him to become the player that he ultimately will be here in college. And that offense should create some opportunity for your offensive line. Well, I think the offensive line last year did a bad job. There's 50 reasons why that may have been true. One of those reasons is that the system did not allow them to do very well. The system did not push the ball down the field through the passing game to lessen the numbers. The system did not call run plays enough. The system constantly had plays that ended up being running plays where they were in pass sets because it was an option and you just didn't get downhill to try to run block. That's something that stood out to me about Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn's film studies that they did, where like you see an offensive line that's like kind of setting to like do pass and then the quarterback gives, and all of a sudden it's just that kind of stuff is tough on an offensive line. Braelin Moore talked about playing in this Lane Kiffin, Charlie Weiss offense.
That was probably one of the biggest reasons why I came back, just to play in the offense. I think they've been top 5 in rushing and scoring the past couple of years. And, I haven't really been I'm not going to say I haven't been a part of a good offense, but I haven't been a part of an offense that, that's demanded those kind of numbers. So, I know what that could do for our team. I know what that could do for me. Yeah.
I think that's completely fair. And LSU's offense he was a part of last year was not good. I can't speak to Virginia Tech. I know they didn't win a lot of games. So I think it's fair to suggest that his opportunity to play in this offensive system that runs the ball as well as it does, that scores points at the level that it does, is something that he would like to be a part of. And now he's right there in the middle of that group. And the guy that's going to have to spur that on to the biggest degree is Sam Leavitt. And he talked about getting Sam Leavitt back from injury.
Then when we got Sam back, it was almost just like a comfort blanket. Like, he come in, he's been there before. He's already played in the playoffs. He knows what it takes to win. So having a guy like that back there to really orchestrate everything is huge.
You're a veteran. I mean, Braelin Moore's old. Bo Bordelon's old. Jordan Seaton's old. Alu Ba is old. Sam Leavitt's old. If that's the group, now Weston Davis is not old. He's a third-year player, but he's not old. But if that's your group up front, that's a lot of college snaps. Leavitt's a 2-year starter. Moore is a 3-year starter. Ba is going into his 3rd year starting. Seaton's a 3rd-year starter. Bordelon's a 5th-year player. You're old. You ought to be able to take information, move quickly, and run this offense. Now, that's an old group. There's youth on the other side of the ball, and there's probably not a better person to talk to about Richard Anderson, about Deuce Geralds, about these freshman defensive linemen than Braelin Moore, who's lined up at center across from especially those two that are playing on the defensive line interior.
Man, those guys are going to be crazy talented. Like, their future is so bright. I've played in the ACC, played against, good Clemson teams, played in the SEC. Those freshmen are developed more than some of the players I played in their 4th year. Deuce is extremely talented pass rusher. His bag is endless. And then when it comes to Rich, he is a powerful dude, can eat up double teams, could, just cause chaos in the backfield. And then Lamar's kind of a switch-up. He's an edge rusher, but, he could also move into 3-tech. He has that power. So, he could work finesse and he could just go right through you. So, that group is set for the next couple of years for sure.
That's high praise. That means more than what I can say. That's the quote. When I heard all the interviews from yesterday, that quote right there is the one that led me to my morning story on LouisianaSports.net, which you can go read for free right now. But that comment, coupled with Lane Kiffin saying, Ed Ogeron and I were talking about this, and in all our years together and separate, we may have not have ever had a freshman defensive line class like this. And you got Braelin Moore saying, I've played Clemson, I've played in the SEC, I've played 4th-year guys that aren't as good as those guys. They're saying the right things. My antenna's up on freshmen on the defensive interior, but Braelin Moore knows better than I do, and Ed Ogeron certainly knows better than I do, and Lane Kiffin knows better than I do. And they're pretty glowing about what those guys have done. So we'll see. Sounds like LSU's going to play a lot of freshmen on the defensive line. We'll see how that goes. Our Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We will step aside, and we'll come back with Sharief Ishaq from Saints Camp next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Online at FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? They have got a lot of them. And you can find every single one that's on the lot on Highway 61 in St. Francisville online at FabryChevrolet.com. Search by make and model, see what they've got there. Search by mileage, see what they've got there. Search by price, if that's what's most important to you. And they've got it, and so you can see what fits your exact needs at FabryChevrolet.com. They've also got new vehicles with great deals, especially on trucks. 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500, 0% APR financing for 5 years, plus no monthly payments for 90 days, 3 months, no payments at Fabry Chevrolet GMC when you buy that 2026 Chevy Silverado. If you get a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500, another truck, 2.9 APR financing for 72 months, plus an additional $1,500 off allowance. Great deals, great customer service, awesome location on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Make that short drive for an amazing, amazing set of deals and that customer service that's kept the Fabry family running in this town for 35 years. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. They're online at immense.net, immense.net. Let's turn our attention to the New Orleans Saints. Sharief Ishaq's been all over it for WDSU down in New Orleans. Saints going to go on a light work through tomorrow, and then they'll do some joint practice with the Jacksonville Jaguars in advance of the preseason opener coming up this weekend. Sharief joins us now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. How are we doing, Sharief?
We're doing well. A little beat up along the defensive line, but doing well.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I know Brazie's out for the year. Anything else outside of Cam being out a month seem to be significant in terms of missing time for the season?
And let's see if he actually misses any time, in the regular season, because Kellen Moore said maybe possibly could miss time in the regular season, but he's like Wolverine. He seems to heal fast, but remember, he is 37 years old, so that Wolverine blood starts to kind of thin a little bit as you get older. Father Time's undefeated, but I'm interested to see how long he's actually out for, because hamstrings vary and they can be finicky, and you don't want to push too hard, especially at that age and at that point in your career. Devon Godshaw rolled his ankle today. So that means Godshaw, Brazie, Cam, a lot of those the three guys are dealing with injuries. So Christian Miller came back, so that's a positive. They're missing a stint there during training camp. Man, look. Between those guys, Dylan Radunz, the offensive line, this team, look, it's football. It happens. Every team's dealing with injuries. But this team can't afford to deal with the injuries along the trenches. That's the two areas, steadily get better at this as the season moves along.
Yeah, obviously Chase Young and Carl Granderson are your guys on the edges, but Anthony Jennings, Tyree Wilson, even John Ridgeway, is there an opportunity for some guys to step forward here with Cam missing some time?
Yeah, I would think it'd be Tyree. You want to see Tyree and Anthony, see how well they could do. They brought those guys over for a reason. See if they can come off the edge, make something happen. Tyree, they used draft capital to bring him over, and former first-round pick. Man looks the part. He looks the part, got the length, but can he, put it all together and make it work on the field? Just because you look the part doesn't mean you could play the part. So that's the thing you're looking to see with Tyree. He made a good play in practice on Sunday, got in the backfield and knocked the ball out of Tyler Shuck's hand. Now, you want to be careful hitting your quarterback's hands. I want to see him shaking his wrist.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do to opposing quarterbacks. Just don't do it to your quarterback. So yeah, those two guys are the guys you want to see stepping up. Look, we know this is Cam Jordan's final year, so now it's to see who is, some of that next crop of players that can soak in that information and actually get on the field and make it happen.
Well, let's talk about the offense working against the defense now, because it appears that far more often than not when I read practice reports, when I watch highlights, it seems like the defense is controlling things to an extent. Is it to an extent that you're concerned about the offense to this point or not?
No, because this feels like, broken record again, Hunt. We talk a lot about this during training camp every year, that the defense seems to always be ahead of the offense, and the season starts and the defense is like, whoa, why are you getting smoked by some of these other offenses to start the season? I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but that just goes to show you, but maybe that Brandon Staley's second year implementing it with these guys, it's working. It's working against this offense, and I don't take much into it. I take a little bit of stock into it, but I'm not going to take much. It gives credit to Brandon Staley and what they're doing, but I'm not saying the offense is bad. It's just a combination of, they're making good plays and the offense is just struggling a bit. But there are times, though, Hunt, Tyler Shuck does do well. Today wasn't the greatest of days, but sometimes he doesn't do the best. And the defense won today. They won, and they won a lot. And in the team game they were playing, trying to get to a certain amount of points, and the defense won it today. So they go back and forth. But I would say take it with a grain of salt during training camp. I told you, I don't really judge team until they're game 3 or 4 in the regular season.
Is there a defensive player or two that's standing out when the defense is controlling the action?
Man, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, those two guys are monsters. Even in the cornerback department with Kool-Aid and Quincy,
Yeah.
I'm looking at those 4 guys, and they seem to be popping out and making good plays. And that's a good sign. If your young corners and your young edge rushers are making those plays, that could be a sign of good things. But like I said, I'm going to pump the brakes a bit. Training camp, I always get like this. I'm like, oh, man, defense is awesome. They're going to go in there and destroy teams this year. And then they start slow. I understand it was a new system with Brandon Staley. So I'm going to kind of, give it a little pause because of last year. Maybe I'll just release that break a little bit more this year on them. And maybe they will be better than I think they are in this training camp and than they were last year.
Any success running the football for the offense?
That's the one thing that, it's hard to judge at times because I know they're not trying to destroy each other when they're doing team drill with pads. And they don't want to get any injuries. So time to time, I have not seen really like a breakthrough run, a real big, massive run outside of a screenplay. I mean, I've seen a couple 8, 9, 10-yard runs, but not really many big plays with the first team, running backs, even when they interchange Alvin and Travis. So not many big runs, but big screen plays I've seen where the offensive line can kick out and get Alvin and Travis.
I'm asking about a couple of players, not because I've heard they're doing great, it's because I haven't heard much of anything about them. Just curious if anything's standing out. Like, is Danny Stutzman getting reps? What's his situation at linebacker right now?
Yeah, he's getting reps. They're doing a lot of rotating with Danny. Pete didn't do much today. I think he just did individuals because he was coming back from a slight groin injury. So Danny's gotten some run. Jalen Ford's gotten some run. Still got Caden in there getting run.
Yeah.
So yeah, Danny's getting some run. I mean, he's getting in there and getting his chance. Guy they're counting on. I know they brought Debo Jones in just to add a little bit of depth, but Kellen's saying when he brought him in, he didn't see anything wrong with his linebackers. It was just a way to assess, the depth there, bring in another veteran presence. There was nothing wrong, he said. He feels like his linebackers are playing well this camp. So it's not a knock on anyone. It's just adding depth. But, yeah, Danny's getting it. He's getting his chances, man. He's a hard-nosed hitting guy who can make tackles, and you can play it sideline to sideline. So I'm interested to see how things get Thursday and Saturday for this team.
Oscar Delp getting any action behind Juwan Johnson?
No, he is, man. He's gotten in there with the ones too. I mean, he's made plays in the seam. He's made plays in the middle of the field. Somebody asked me this last week. It might have been Todd and Gus when I got on the Saints app and did their show, and he asked, "Who do you like that was a free agent?" He asked, "Who did you like from the draft?" And I said, "Look, we're going to talk about Jordan Tyson a lot, and we're going to talk about the receivers. But give me the sleeper for me. Sometimes could be Oscar Delp. I don't think his potential. I don't think he was used. His full potential wasn't used at Georgia. I think there's something missing. I mean, something that they didn't use when he was at Georgia. And I feel like that Kellen Moore, who's a tight end whisperer, I feel like he knows what he's doing with his tight ends. And I think that they're going to find a way to break open and unlock some things with Oscar. And you see some of it during these practices. And I feel like that's going to be a trend to watch as the season starts and preseason starts.
Last one, Sharief. We appreciate a little time. People are talking about the kicking. It is apparently not so good. Where are we on kicking right now?
These guys are struggling, man. I mean, guys, each one of them has missed, I think, at least 5 or 6 kicks, and it's not pretty. Your guy Ross Jackson does a great job of charting it and watch it with our eyes. And Kellen's saying it's very close, and it's going to go down to the end of camp. But man, I'd start thinking about bringing in somebody else. No disrespect. It's just not. It hasn't been pretty. I mean, a lot of easy misses too. You see some misses that you're like, oof. But then you see them bomb from 55 yards and make it. Like, man, sometimes it's the easier kicks that you need to make in games. So it's close, but not in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, look, every kicker at an NFL camp can make it from 55 yards. I don't care if they can make it 55 yards. Don't ever miss it from 42 yards. And it sounds like that's happening at times out there at Saints camp.
Yeah, that's the issue, man. Those 39 to 44 yarders that they're missing at times, it's not good. It's not good, Hunt. I mean, some of those kicks are pressure kicks in games at the end of games. Those 3 points that you need, up by 4 points, up by 5 points. It'd be great if you're up by a touchdown or 8 points. And I'm sorry, I can't afford to lose multiple close games because of my kicking situation. And as we know, special teams from all aspects was a disaster last year.
Yep.
And those hidden yards, those hidden points, you can't have it again this year if you're a team that's possibly contending to win in the NFC South.
Last one. What are you expecting, or what is something you're looking for, whether it's in the joint practices or in the actual preseason game where we don't figure to see a lot of starters, but anything you're looking for when they play Jacksonville?
Yeah, when I tell you this all the time, when I compare the TV thing, like some people are better live shot players than they are taping their stand-ups. I can't wait to see how Tyler Shuck, when he's lined up against that Jacksonville defense that made it to the postseason last year, I'm interested to see how he looks in live action, because I personally feel like he's a better live player than a practice player. I feel like sometimes just the monotony of getting tired of seeing your own jersey color, your own teammates, can get boring at times. I think that he's going to be good in these joint practices when they get to live, and I want to see how the offensive line blocks for, like you asked me about the running game. That's the part that I need to see trending in the right direction.
We shall see. We'll be checking in next week. Thanks, Sharief.
You got it, huh? See you next Tuesday.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. I don't expect to see a lot of the starters out there in the preseason game, but you will see, obviously, the team getting work against Jacksonville. It's a very important part of the development here of this team. And I think Jacksonville is a good team to play against. They've got some Pro Bowl level talent. They're a postseason team from last year, but they're not the best team in the NFL. It's just a good stern test. I would rather play them than a team that's. I don't want to play Arizona right now. I want to see how you stack up in controlled practice reps to one of the better teams. Just like last year, I didn't have any interest in the Saints with the Rams. Okay, I know how the Saints stack up against the Rams last year at this time. It's not good, so we don't need to see that. This is a good test for the Saints. If you think the Saints are on the border of being a playoff team, and you feel like Jacksonville, albeit in a different conference, is on the border of being a playoff team, how do you stack up in some controlled reps? It's not the end of the world, and it's early, real early, but interesting nonetheless at this time in the calendar. So Saints and Jaguars, a couple joint practices, and then they'll play a preseason game coming up this weekend. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust, FABT.com, FABT.com. First American Bank and Trust, 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Need a commercial loan? First American Bank and Trust. Need a personal loan? First American Bank and Trust. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. They've been at this 116 years, a community bank. When you walk into First American Bank and Trust, you see people from your community. When you call First American Bank and Trust, you get someone in Southeast Louisiana. When you apply for that loan with First American Bank and Trust, the decision on your loan is made by someone in Southeast Louisiana. No matter where you are, river parishes, up the I-12 corridor, down in the 504, 225, First American Bank and Trust has a location near you. So if you're looking for a personal loan, looking for a commercial loan, look no further than First American Bank and Trust. They're online at FABT.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. They're a managed service provider that is essentially a full IT department that works for you without being on your payroll. Instead of calling somebody when something breaks, Immense is watching when something breaks. They're paying attention, and they're going to be proactive to make sure that nothing goes wrong, right? We've been doing this in Baton Rouge for 20 years. It's not a national call center. They're local. They know this market. They know you. They've got a local team here to help. So if you run a business and you don't have someone proactively managing your technology, you're one bad day away from a very expensive problem that's going to cost you. Instead, just call Immense. No long-term contracts. They're month to month. They'll prove their worth to you. Cybersecurity is a big, big issue. Immense can be a big part of you preventing those cyber breaches and attacks. They're online at immense.net. Immense Networks Cloud IT Management brings you our Tuesday shows each and every week. Again, hope to see you out tonight at Court at the Table Sports Trivia at 8 o'clock. If you want to come on out, come by yourself, come with the team. We'll be out there tonight at 8 o'clock just after LSU's practice, which will be at about 6:30. We'll be out there, and they'll be in full pads tonight. But, again, only about 20 minutes for us, maybe 15, and then we'll write something up for you at LouisianaSports.net. We'll certainly be talking about it on tomorrow's show. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Zach Holland, a two-handicap golfer from Missouri, resigned from the Winged Haven Country Club after security footage showed him faking a hole-in-one during a tournament that involved a cash prize for a hole-in-one. The footage shows Holland driving to the fourth green before his tee time and planting the ball. When his group was on the third hole, Holland faked a phone call regarding his ill grandmother and told the group he teed off without them and wasn't sure where the shot went. Then he found the planted ball in the hole, faking an ace for a cash prize. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave that. That's a tough look. I mean, this is a really orchestrated thing.
Do we have an age on him? I want to ask that.
He has young kids.
Okay,
I saw
all
that.
right, so he's a dad. All right,
This is a guy that's
not a young
he's
kid.
in his 40s. He was a college golfer, I saw.
Okay.
But, took a ball, planted it in the hole, went through the whole dog and pony show on the third green to fake a phone call to walk away, then said while they were finishing on the green on his playing partners, he just teed off, not really sure where it went, found it in the hole and won for a cash prize. And that's usually a four-figure prize here. This is not like $50. You're talking, depending on what the country club event is, this could be $1,500, this could be $3,500.
Oh my goodness.
There's no question. That's a tough look.
Oh, tough scene.
A tough look. And he resigned. There's some quotes in. To his credit, he's scummy. This is a scummy deal, but he has not denied it 1 second. Said there's no excuse. Horrible moral character, bad moral fiber, embarrassed for my children.
Respect
They're
that.
going to have to deal with all that. And he was very apologetic and took responsibility, but that's a tough look.
Yeah, no, the scene of getting that footage showed back to you must have been like, oh my goodness, heart just straight dropped to your stomach.
Your toes.
Your toes. Beyond cooked. So let's talk about somebody else's cooked. The Minnesota Vikings have named Kyler Murray their starting quarterback, sources told ESPN Adam Schefter. They expect a conclusion from the quarterback competition. The decision pushes J.J. McCarthy, the number 10 pick of the 2024 draft, to the sideline after 10 career starts. So it's questions about his future, obviously. So after 10 starts, is this the end of McCarthy's time in Minnesota? Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it.
Just leave it alone.
They've got a really good coach, so they're probably not going to be bad. But if Murray gets hurt, which is possible, he runs around all over the place, or if they're bad, he could get a chance. But it's not good that he couldn't beat. And now, the injury to start things was a tough start.
Yeah.
But, now he's been in the league a little bit, and for him not to be able to. Now, there are people that think Kyler Murray still got something left. He was just in a really bad situation. But it's not good for J.J. McCarthy not to do that. But look, this is a guy that was, not that great a passer at Michigan.
He wasn't.
They just ran the rock and played great defense.
They tried to put him in Heisman talks just because he's handing the ball off.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They were running the pigskin in Ann Arbor.
Come on, man.
Very well. They were running very well.
Cheating, but that's a whole conversation. All right, so Domino's has spent decades selling pizzas, but the chain house somehow has never offered a design that resembles a Domino's. So now they are offering, after 65 years, Domino's announcing a new personal pan pizza called the Domino. Well, it's a Detroit-style pizza, but it's shaped like a domino piece. So getting the Domino from Domino's, take it or leave it.
I'm going to take it. Look,
I'll take it.
I like pizza.
Okay.
And there's very rarely a bad pizza. I like Detroit style.
Any two toppings you can.
That's going to be easy. That's pepperoni and bacon all day long. Sausage is great too, but pepperoni and bacon is what we're going to go with. I like Detroit style. I like deep dish. I like thin crust. I like stuffed crust. I like New York style. I like by the slice. I like it all. I like white sauce. I like a pesto base.
Pesto, yes.
I don't want a lot of toppings. I don't want onions and bell peppers.
You don't
and
want no
mushrooms
green.
and the whole
No
world.
green.
Unless it's spinach, which is fine. But I would absolutely eat a personal pepperoni pizza that was shaped like whatever you wanted to shape it like. You can shape that thing like a St. Louis Cardinals bird. I'll eat it. Whatever.
No, you wouldn't. Not no. Cardinals over Brewers?
I hate them both.
Okay.
Right now, the Brewers are the thorn in my side, but I respect the Brewers. I despise the Cardinals.
Okay, so that's it for take it or leave it.
I respect the Brewers because they beat our butts every year, and I just what else am I going to do? But
you have to.
Cubs are laying in the weeds right now. I'll just tell you that. They're laying in the weeds. They're really good. Brewers have been better. I'll tell you this. It's August 11th. I'm very excited for baseball every morning when I wake up. I'm all in on Cubs content right now. I realize we're about to get to football. I understand that. But, when the Cubs are in the race this late, it's very fun for me, and I'm very much enjoying that. So they're playing great. All right, Tuesday show is brought to you by Mintz, Networks Cloud IT Management. A lot of content today. Talked Saints in a couple different segments. Cam Jordan injury. Talked to Sharief, who's been at Saints camp. Went through LSU schedule, easiest to hardest. Also heard from Braelin Moore and Ty Benefield as well. If you missed any of the show, Hunt on Saints for Saints stuff. Hunt on LSU for LSU stuff. Practice report coming at LouisianaSports.net tonight. Matt's going to drive you home next. We're back tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Awesome place to work on your game. I know that it can sometimes be tough to hit balls in the driving range. It rains most afternoons. That's not great. Sometimes the balls out there at the ranges are not great. The wind can be blowing depending on where you are in town. Maybe there's not enough grass on the green on the range. All that stuff is avoidable at Swing Easy. You go into your private bay. You hit balls into the simulator. You can tee up drivers. You can hit iron shots off the mat. You get your information like your club head speed, your ball speed, carry distance, spin rates, stuff that's important to scratch golfers. And if you just want to see the trajectory of your shots and you're a beginning golfer, you can do that as well. Plus, they give you that slow motion view of the impact of your club on the golf ball that I think helps a ton. Great place to work on your golf game. They're on Segan at Perkins. It's Swing Easy Golf Club on Segan at Perkins. Have some fun, work on your game, incorporate golf any way you'd like. It's Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.